Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka the guy who's gonna cry now because it seems like my damn door is gonna get fixed before we get this Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Fear not though, as I've been sent some brand new exclusive plot leaks that tell us some cool details about the upcoming Marvel movie. Throughout this video, we're going to be going through what's apparently in the film and how it confirms some of the things we already know. I'll also be going over the first look at Christian Bale's Gore the Butcher in Thor Love and Thunder, whilst discussing how many gods he had to butcher in order to prepare for the role. Full spoilers ahead, and whilst we won't know if these leaks are true until the movie releases, they do line up a lot with what I've been shown of behind the scenes stuff. If you're Willem the friend, then thumbs up the video, and don't forget to subscribe to stick around for breakdowns on the web every day. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay, so as I mentioned up top, I can't confirm if these are true or not, but they were sent with certain materials that makes me think they're legitimate. You never know whether studios will let you do videos on this kind of stuff or not, and therefore I'd rather just keep things as safe as possible and say that my source is definitely not my uncle who works at the Sony store in Eldon Square. It's not him, I promise. Now when the trailer eventually drops, we'll know whether these are true, but as you know with me, I rarely do big plot leak breakdowns unless I'm fairly confident that the majority of it is accurate. Now the movie apparently opens immediately after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home. We pick up with the focus on a sign that says West 33rd Street, and after googling this I saw it's located opposite Pennsylvania Station, which is where Peter was at during the post-credit scene of the prior movie. He jumps down to talk to MJ and is immediately swamped by the public, who are all recording him on their phones and posting out his reaction. This makes him panic and he grabs MJ before swinging through the city. This includes travelling past Times Square, which has his face apparently blown up on the central screen. Not long after this, Peter hands himself in, and he's joined at the station by MJ, Ned, and also Flash. Flash was of course a big fan of Spider-Man, but he hated Penis Parker and used to bully him at school. However, realising that he's a good guy, he joins his side, and interestingly the actor has now apparently dyed his hair bleach blonde, which lines up more with his comic book counterpart. According to what I've been told, Peter even allows himself to be put in one handcuff, whilst the other one is tied to an interrogation room table. He could clearly snap out of this, but he's meant to do it so that the officers feel safe, similar to how Supes did in Man of Steel. Now after carrying out a proper investigation, and also going through the courts with Matt Murdock as his lawyer, people quickly realised that the Mysterio group was fake newsing the murder of Quentin Beck, and Peter's name is cleared. However, the world knows that he's Spider-Man, and thus he gets mobbed in school and also can't really live a normal life. There's meant to be a really touching scene in which he and MJ sit on a rooftop away from the world, and Peter says that he just wants to stay up there forever. During this, MJ reads a newspaper and says the report states that Spider-Man has the power to hypnotize females, which foreshadows a big thing that we'll be talking about later on in the video. Now the pair are absolutely consumed by the newfound fame, and there's meant to be a lot of scenes early on that have them reading their phones and just obsessing over it. The movie also takes place across a number of seasons, and it's supposed to range from summer through autumn and all the way up to winter, which we know from some behind the scenes videos on the film. Now it's during autumn, namely Halloween, that Peter gets a certain idea. After looking at a witch decoration, he apparently gets the idea to go to Doctor Strange and ask for his help. Peter goes back to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and we find it pretty run down and covered in snow. This is apparently because after Bruce Banner came through the roof and left a hole, everyone got snapped and they're only now just cleaning it. The Funko Pops do line up with this, and Strange and Wong can be found shoveling snow and trying to clear the place out. Peter asks Strange if it's possible to go back in time and change things, but as we know, this would only create a branched reality rather than changing the results of what really happened. This actually pulls from the One More Day storyline, which happened after the events of Civil War. In the comics, Peter revealed that he was Spider-Man to the world in order to show how trustworthy the Superhuman Registration Act was, but this led to Kingpin sending assassins after him. One tried to kill him, but they shot Aunt May instead, and Peter ended up travelling to Strange for help. Similar to the movie, Strange was in a rundown Sanctorum, and from what I've been told privately by Dude Bro Trust Me, the movie is pulling heavily from the comic. In it, Strange reached across the multiverse in order to attempt to see if there was anyone who could help Peter, and all the heroes said there was nothing they could do. Thus he ended up turning to Mephisto, who said that he would help out, but he wanted his and MJ's marriage as payment. To make sure that no one would come after May again, he also erased the knowledge that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, And though the devil who's in the details doesn't show up in this film, we do get a similar sort of thing with Strange. Now because Strange can't time travel, he apparently decides to do a spell that will erase the knowledge from everyone's mind that Peter is Spider-Man. Wong is meant to warn him not to do it, as it's super dangerous, and Strange apparently says he won't do it, but then he gives Peter a cheeky wink. Wong then packs his bags and he goes off to fight the Abomination in Shang-Chi, and this leaves Strange by himself so he can carry it out. Now the detail I was told, which will either make or break these leaks, is that Strange apparently has a coffee mug with "for Fox's sake" written on it. I don't know why they said that, but it was such a weird detail in what I was sent that I thought I'd put it in the video. If you're from the future, either you know what's happened and you're shaking your head at how much of an idiot I am for saying this, or you're saying,
"That's some of a bitch. Kevin spoilers, he did it again."
Now from here, Peter and Strange go to the basement of the Sanctum, and Strange pulls a hair from Peter's head to create the spell, similar to how he did to Thor in Ragnarok. He then casts it out of the world to make sure that everyone forgets that Peter is Spider-Man. However, Peter interrupts this and asks if he can keep it so that people who found out before Mysterio revealed it still know the truth. This is because MJ and Peter have a bit of back and forth about how difficult it was keeping it from her, and he doesn't want to go through that again. This unfortunately cracks the multiverse wide open, and we get the Sinister Six coming through this tear in reality. As we've said in other breakdowns and leak videos, the lineup is Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Electro, Lizard, Sandman and Rhino. New York is then apparently attacked by these villains, and both Strange and Peter have to round them up. The only one they don't capture is Green Goblin, as he decides to hang back whilst the others go ahead. Strange then puts them in a prison, which Peter doesn't know about, and Goblin goes to visit them. Here he finds out that the last thing they all remember is the Spider-Man of their Earth being there when they died. Goblin can't break them out because there's a magical cube that Strange has put in place to stop them, and thus he goes to Peter for help. He tells him that the Peter of their Earths killed them, and that if they go back, they'll face their death. So there's drumroll please, yeah. No Way Home. Now Peter feels super guilty about this, and he steals the cube, which leads to Strange chasing him across the city in the mirror dimension. There's apparently a moment in which the city collapses in on itself, similar to how it did in the chase in Strange's solo movie, and he uses his cape to capture Peter. You've probably seen that lad Piss from Wee Wee Films the other day. You've probably seen him posting that exclusive photo he had from the movie, and I'm pretty sure that this happens just before this moment. I've left a link to his video somewhere if you want to go watch it, and I'd advise leaving a comment that trolls him a bit, yeah? Now I'll never say go harass another creator, especially not Chris, as I bloody love the guy, but I wouldn't be mad if everyone just went there and said, "That Chris Parker is a menace," or words to that effect in your best J. Jonah Jameson voice. Now Strange pushes out his astral form and manages to get the cube, but it's too late and the villains escape. Now that's the majority of the major new things I got told from my uncle, the person who sent me it, and though some of it is what we know before, it does flesh out the order of the story and the way things happen a lot. The person did say the major leaks we've seen are true, with Osborn stealing an arc reactor and positioning it above the Statue of Liberty, which now has a giant Captain America shield. On our last plot leak video, we talked about how there was a big character death, but that we didn't know exactly who this was. I have been told that the studio actually filmed several different scenes that won't be used just to keep things safe from the spectacular spoiler man Tom Holland, but that they are leaning into it being May. May was of course almost killed in One More Day, so that makes a lot of sense and it leaves some actual consequences for the ending of this movie. Anyway, if it turns out to be true, then I think it'll work really well, and it makes way more sense than some of the 20,000 word leaks that I've seen on Reddit. In regards to the trailer, we are getting to the point now that it should be released, and if it doesn't come out this month, I think the movie will be delayed. Daniel RPK said he thinks it will either be with Shang-Chi or Venom 2, and these both come out in September. Therefore, it's cutting it super close to the release date, just 3 months later if they drop it then, so I really don't know. The Let There Be Carnage trailer did say coming soon at the end, rather than having a date, and thus it might show that the studio are waiting to see how things develop before announcing whether they're delaying it further or not. I will of course keep you posted, but no matter what anyone tells you, no one knows for definite exactly when it's dropping. Now before we get into the Christian Bale picks, I'd obviously love to hear your thoughts on the leaks, so make sure you drop them below and let me know. We are giving away 3 MCU box sets on the 30th of August, and all you have to do to be on the chance of winning is give us a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your quick thoughts on the video. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. Now, Thor Love and Thunder is currently being filmed, and our first behind the scenes look at Christian Bale have emerged from the set. He is playing Gore the Butcher, and this is a bit of a departure from the comic character, as it doesn't seem like they're leaning into the alien look unless they use CGI. However, if you get Christian Bale, you tend to want to use all of his acting abilities, and I think they might keep things as we see it here, and then just use lighting and shadow to make him seem more sinister. Now, he looks a lot like a statue, and I'm super interested to see how they use him in the movie. We all know how the last comic book movies that he was attached to turned out, and this is a massive deal for Marvel, so I really hope that he's properly utilised in the film. Gore is one of the meanest son of a bitches since Clint Eastwood, and he travels across the universe wiping out all gods due to their disregard for life. Gore believes them to be illegitimate rulers that don't deserve to have the power that they do, and he certainly doesn't think that they use it for the good of people. He wants to smash their head in like you should smash that like button, and I really hope they lean into the darker side of the character. Anyway, that's the video, yeah? Get the hell out of here, and don't tell Sony, yeah? My uncle's on his second warning after leaking photos of Woody's wig in Venom 2, and I just don't want the guy to get in any more trouble. What I do want though is to hear your thoughts, so make sure you drop them below. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of the Venom 2 trailer, which will be linked on screen right now. If you don't, there's gonna be carnage, hey? And I'd love it if you went over there and also said something nice. Yeah, just give me a nice little compliment. And with that out of the way, thank you for sitting through this video. I've been Paul. I'll see you next time, mate. You take care of yourself, and don't tell anyone about this conversation we've just had. Peace.